Joe, Django, Billy the Kid, Rooster Cogburn, legends of the American frontier of the Wild West, an untamed land with gunslingers, Indians, outlaws, and lawmen, with great stories and legends in early America trying to survive. But there is one who stands above the rest, an outlaw with no fear, in search of the American dream. It is the most based Arthur Morgan.
I've been living too fast, I've been living too wrong. Cruel, cruel world, I'm gone. This big old world sure got me running round.
So in 1899 is where we first see Arthur Morgan within Dutch's gang. Arthur is the pinnacle of a Western outlaw archetype, with a complex personality that includes both strengths and weaknesses. He has a strong and moral compass despite the abrasiveness and his actions. Arthur exemplifies of the typical traits associated with Taurus individuals, including practicality, dependability, and self-sufficiency. He is a character of tragedy and humanity. It's very hard to say that we instantly take to a character the first time we play a video game. The only time that we have those moments are people like Solid Snake. But Arthur Morgan did something amazingly well, where we was instantly attached to his character the first time we played the game. He's definitely cemented into the best video game characters of all time. So I'm just going to go into a few base moments from Arthur Morgan, and if there's anything I missed, please leave me a comment in the section down below and let me know.
Stop wasting time and come on and get on with it. The viewers want to know why I'm based.
So on top of the Amberino Mountains is where we find Sadie Adler, in which she's been attacked by the O'Driscoll gang and where her husband had been killed. And all kinds of atrocities could have happened to Miss Sadie Adler if the likes of Arthur and Dutch didn't step in to make sure that she was safe and okay. This shows the base side of Arthur as he comforts and reassures Miss Adler that she'll be safe.
Miss, it's okay. We're bad men. We ain't them. It's okay. Get on. We'll keep you safe until you figure out what you want to do.
So somewhere on the mountains, John has got himself missing and attacked by a pack of wolves, hence that famous scar on the side of his face. But another base moment from Arthur, as Arthur doesn't particularly like John at this point, but still goes out of his way to make sure that he can rescue him. And without Arthur, there would be no beloved Red Dead 1.
That's quite a scratch you got there.
Never thought I'd say this, but good to see you, Arthur Morgan.
You don't look so good.
I don't feel too good, neither. I'm freezing.
Don't die just yet, cowboy.
So we have the famous train robbery in where Dutch's gang and the O'Driscolls were having an immense rivalry, and where Dutch's gang would come out on top as Arthur's shooting skills is second to none and even makes Billy the Kid look slow. Leviticus Cornwell is a big oil typhoon in America, and has plenty of money to spare for the likes of these outlaws. With the O'Driscolls out of the way, it was all for the taking. This moment is based because in the world of the Wild West, the land is very untamed, and trying to survive in this climate is very difficult. And these outlaws do whatever it takes to survive, and that in itself is based as fuck.
What did you find? These bonds. They worth anything?
Oh, sure. Bearer bonds. I think we can probably sell these pretty easily. Well done. Now, would you get rid of all of this?
Train?
So at this point, Arthur and the gang have made it down from the mountains, and are now in Valentine looking for opportunities to make money. When Tilly finds herself in a spot of bother, when Arthur comes to her rescue like an absolute G.
Get your hands off of her.
Who are you?
A friend of mine.
Get the hell off of her, you son of a bitch.
Hey, Hey, take it easy. There's no problem here.
There will be if you don't get out of here right now.
And Karen is attempting to get some money off a client who is not happy with the service he's receiving, so intends to try to attack her for not getting what he wants, Arthur coming through again, saving the day.
Hey!
Hey, you!
A friend of hers.
Get out of here, buddy. I paid.
Ain't paid to hit her, you goddamn animal. Come here!
I paid for nothing.
Who's talking now, huh? What the hell are you doing here?
So one of the pastimes in Valentine's is to go enjoy yourself a drink in the saloon. But in the saloon it carries its local riffraff. So when Arthur decides to go into the saloon and have a few drinks with the gang, when two hoes at the bar try to belittle Arthur and make him look stupid, and in return, Arthur makes them look like the scrubs they are.
Arthur, come here, come over here. I want you to meet our friends.
Pleased to meet you.
Well, ain't you just the toughest tick mountain man?
Oh, you be quiet, Anastasia. Anyone can tell this one is a pussy cat.
Exactly, yes, he's a pussy cat. Ain't that so, Arthur?
Whatever you say. How much you cost, anyway?
Well, ain't that a nice way to talk to a lady?
Oh, I didn't know I was talking to a lady.
Excuse me.
Well, I must say, you got a fine way with the women, amigo.
Yeah, regular dandy and a charmer.
You'll be surprised what can start a bar fight. Looking at someone the wrong way, perhaps bumping into someone? Well, this bar fight happens pretty quickly, and as it ensues, Arthur is no stranger to getting his hands dirty and getting stuck in to fight for the gang.
Come on then.
Naturally, Arthur has been on this rodeo quite a few times, as you can tell. This guy knows how to throw hands. But then all of a sudden the big bad dandy comes from down the stairs to try and beat Arthur's ass. And Arthur takes a chair right to the back and takes it like an absolute boss. In both endurance and fighting, Arthur's got what it takes to take on the bar practically all by himself, as the majority of the gang are actually getting their ass whipped, but Arthur is pushing on through, in which he goes to help Avier, who's currently getting his head taken off. With at this moment all of us naturally thinking that Arthur's bitten off more than he can chew, by practically being tossed around by a giant guy who's pretty much got a bear complex. After being thrown out the window, Arthur settles the score in the streets like a proper cowboy.
Go on, Tommy. I said this be fun, didn't I? Show 'em how we do it Valentine.
Come on, Arthur. Got drinks waiting.
It doesn't get any more bass than this, as all the local town Valentine scrubs are cheering for the big giant. But Arthur lets everybody know that size isn't a problem, and lets his inner cowboy and badass take control as he kicks the shit out of this guy.
Please, I beg you, stop. Come, sir. You won the fight already. Surely that's enough.
What business is it of yours?
No business. No business, sir, but please, I beg you.
Now this isn't one of Arthur's most proudest moments, as he beats on Thomas Downs as he owes money to Strauss. Whilst it seems like a harsh way of going around business, this was what it was like back in those days. Things were tough and hard to come by. Taking money out of people's pocket was taking food out of their mouth. Ironically speaking, this moment here shows how Arthur was actually a dead man walking, as Thomas actually had tuberculosis and was dying. And during 1899, there was no such cure for tuberculosis. If you're wondering why I say this moment is based, well, it's because Arthur's willing to do whatever it takes, as harsh as it seems, to make sure the gang is okay.
Is that clear?
Thomas!
What are you looking at?
Thomas!
I said what you looking at, woman.
My husband isn't well. If we could just have more...
Like I said, we ain't nobody's idea of charity. Get us the money.
So after all the trouble that Dutch's gangs have been getting into, it's caused a bit of a stir and word's going around. Hence the Pinkerton's arrival, in which Arthur has a confrontation with Agent Ross and Agent Milton, in which Arthur stands up firm and not giving in to the demands to turn in Dutch van der Linde. And in this time period is when governments and agencies were trying to tame the Wild West in means of extortion and threatening behavior. Arthur makes it clear that he won't sell out his gang, and stands in front of Jack, trying to protect and make sure that these agents know their place. It's worth mentioning that this scene does an amazing job in foreshadowing the future in Red Dead Redemption 1 between Jack and Agent Ross. It's a base moment because these guys think they're above the law and can tell people how to live in a society they wish to shape, in which Arthur doesn't buy it.
$5,000 for your head alone.
$5,000? For me? Can I turn myself in?
We want Vanderlyn.
Old Dutch. I haven't seen him for months.
This is my offer, Mr. Morgan. Bring in Vanderlyn, and you have my word you won't swing.
Oh, I ain't gonna swing anyways, Agent,
Milton.
You see, I haven't done anything wrong. Aside from not playing the games to your rules, you enjoy being a rich man's toy, dear.
I enjoy society, flaws and all. You people venerate savagery, and you will die. Savagely, all of you.
Oh, we're all gonna die, Agent.
So in the state of Lemoyne, Dutch's gang would find themselves playing both the Braithwaites and the Greys against each other, in order to try steal a collection of gold and loot. The Braithwaites and the Greys have had a long history feud between one another, but they're no saints as they themselves have been involved within the slavery trade. But things go south quite quick as the Braithwaites understand the intention behind what Dutch's gang intend to do, which is rob them, and in turn kidnap John Marston's son, Jack. The Braithwaites are quite a long family with a long lineage, but there was no match for the likes of Dutch's gang, who ruthlessly and mercilessly pretty much put an end to the entire dynasty in one day. At first the gang tried to ask civilly where Jack Marston was being held, but of course none of that was to happen, ensuing the battle that would be between them.
Jack? Oh, shit! Jack!
Of course the gang wasn't here to exchange pleasantries, but in the Wild West, what do you expect? But of course they managed to get the answers out of Mrs. Braithwaite to find out where Jack's location is. This is another base moment as it shows that Arthur's loyalty to the gang and how much he serves to try and protect his own. The gang is like a family to Arthur, and Jack Marston being like something of a son that Arthur Morgan has a great deal of care for.
Where's the boy?
My sons gave him to Angelo Bronte, so my guess is Saint Denis. Either there or on my boat to Italy.
Let's go!
Arthur, come on! What are we doing with her?
Leave her.
I told you she was crazy.
Whilst Arthur can be quite cold and cruel at times, he's also got a very good heart with true intentions. Being raised as an orphan and born in a world that has no care for you, it's very difficult to try and have a very charitable soul. But Arthur remains that way, even so, by giving to charity and helping those who are less fortunate than him. Some people take a lot of kindness for weakness, but that's not the case for Arthur. He is the ultimate Sigma as he keeps himself firm and grounded, but can still show a bit of kindness at times. Whilst talking to the religious monk outside the market, that's when Arthur discovers that there is 2 slaves locked away, in which Arthur, like a complete base guy he is, rescues them.
¿Quién eres?
Got this?
Oh, yes. Thank you. Here. Payment. For your services. I could not have freed these men myself.
Give it to the poor brother.
Thank you.
So after the botched heist in Saint Denis, John Marston got himself captured by the law and taken to a prison off to an island, where Dutch Van der Linde had no intention of rescuing John at any point. You could say that Dutch's true colors were starting to show, or perhaps they were always there since the Blackwater Massacre. Through this section of the story is when we start to see the descent of Dutch Van der Linde's madness, as a few of the gang members such as Hosea, Sean, and Lenny have died. The only people that were willing to break John out was Sadie Adler and Arthur, once again showing Arthur's loyalty as a true friend, even though they're not exactly close. But this scene is all the more based as fuck, is because Arthur's got one guy hostage, and he is willing to march straight to the front gates in order to get John.
Faster! 14, 15, 16, 17. Hurry up! Well, this poor fool's gonna get his brains shot out. And over what? For nothing. Milliken, don't stop counting. I can't hear you.
Hurry up and bring that asshole out here, you bastards!
You're talking about a guy who's dying of tuberculosis, and it's hard for him to move around. Literally escaping a penitentiary with John and Sadie like an absolute pro.
I think I liked you better when you was all trussed up like a prize chicken.
No doubt.
So after the death of Mr. Downs, Arthur feels bad and his guilty conscience comes into play, as Mrs. Down is turned into prostitution for her only way to pay for her and her son's existence. It's a really beautiful example of Arthur showing his humanity, as he goes out of his way to step in and save Mr. Down's son from being bullied by the foreman. This moment is so base because at this point Arthur is deteriorating and is at his weakest moments, but stands up against a load of these bullies, teaching them a lesson, and also helping his son escape by giving him some money in order for him and his mum to get away to live a better life.
My daddy died, and this man, he killed him. What are you doing here?
Leave the boy alone.
Why'd you kill his daddy? You after his mama?
Stop bullying the boy.
Get out of my business, mister.
Leave the boy alone.
Or what?
Now who's next? Let the boy go. Let him go! Come with me. Shame on you. He's just a goddamn boy! Let's get you out of here.
They're gonna kill me. Now I got no job and they're gonna kill me.
I've got some money. You and your mama can go someplace nice.
Well, why are you doing this?
I don't know. Listen, take this. All of it. Try and talk to your mama and get out of here. Now run.
I'll try.
Good boy. I don't want to see you here again.
And one of the best moments in Red Dead Redemption 2 is Arthur's advice towards John. Because at this stage, Dutch has truly lost it. And it doesn't matter who's getting lost along the way, it seems that Dutch is just looking out for his own interest, making several enemies along the way, endangering the entire gang, including John and his family. As time's gone on, Dutch has become more paranoid and volatile towards his own gang, believing that some are stabbing him in the back and trying to betray him. Arthur is very wise and realizes now that Dutch has truly lost it, and John must leave and get away from the situation.
I feel like in Saint Denis, when I got arrested, maybe he could have done something.
I feel like you should take your woman and child and get lost.
Do you?
You could give something to Jack. It's that or... Well, I don't see no way out of this.
What about loyalty?
Be loyal to what matters.
What are you gonna do?
I'll be okay, but do it for me. It would make me feel good, if that makes any sense.
A little, but...
Listen to me. When the time comes, you gotta run and don't look back. This is over.
At the end of the game, Arthur Morgan would tragically pass, but not without getting some form of redemption along the way. And by redemption I mean by redeeming his soul and doing everything right towards the end in making sure that John escapes to his family. Unquestionably, Arthur Morgan is definitely going to go down as one of the most greatest video game characters of all time. With Rockstar's immense and great storytelling, Red Dead Redemption is above and beyond most games. It served to a generation of people that wasn't necessarily into westerns, which managed to find a way to get people invested into the Wild West. If you were to ask me what is the best storytelling title of Rockstar, it definitely has to be the Red Dead Redemption franchise. Arthur, knowing that his time is short, sick and dying, would truly make amends and have his redemption.
It would mean a lot to me. Please. Ain't no more time for talk. Go.
Arthur.
Go to your family.
Arthur!
Get the hell out of here and be a goddamn man.
If we're looking at any prequel, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a masterpiece. The way that it fits in and ties into Red Dead Redemption 1 with the story of John continuing the legacy of Arthur Morgan. The beauty of the title of Redemption is practically the surfing point of the story of this game. Whilst Arthur's death was tragic, it wasn't in vain. And as ill as he was, he gave a good last go-around with Micah.
I killed you long ago.
And despite Arthur's best efforts, unfortunately he wouldn't make it. But like a real cowboy, he'd die peacefully by the setting sun in the west. This is undoubtedly one of the greatest endings I've ever seen in video games, and it made it full circle to understand all the more to confirm how bad of a person Dutch van der Leen was, but maybe it was justified given on how it was back then to survive. Well then guys, this is all for today's video. I'd love to know what your most base moment is in Red Dead Redemption, and if there's anything that I've missed out. Please leave me a comment section down below, and if you can, like the channel and give me a subscribe. It really helps the voice box out. Thank you guys. Peace out.
Shine